Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Wherever We Find Ourselves. In this episode, we're going to be finding ourselves in the town that is still burning in Centralia, Pennsylvania. We're fucked. So, today's story sounds like a horror movie, but it's 100% real. A Pennsylvania town that has been on fire since 1962.
Hold up. You mean like on fires and we had a bad house fire once? Or on fire like still fucking burning 60 years later?
The second one, still burning right now as we record this. The coal seams beneath Centralia are smoldering away, and the experts say they'll keep burning for another 200 years.
Jesus, that's like putting a hot pocket in the microwave during the Kennedy administration, and it's still spinning in there while we're arguing about TikTok.
Exactly. Centralia's fire started with a simple mistake, a garbage fire. Memorial Day weekend 1962, a mistake so small you could almost laugh about it, but the consequences, they swallowed a town.
So Pennsylvania basically invented hell. Looked at the Bible, saw eternal fire, and said, yeah, let's prototype that.
But before we get to the fire, we need to understand the place. Centralia wasn't just a random dot on the map. It was a mining town with deep immigrant roots, full of families who bled coal dust. And it was alive. Churches, ball games, parades, tight knit, tough, stubborn people.
Sounds like a mix of Hallmark movie and every OSHA violation rolled into one.
You're not wrong. Let's roll back the beginning. In the early years between 1850 to 1950, picture the 1850s. The railroads are expanding, steel mills roaring. America's industrial boom is hungry for fuel and coal. The hard, clean, burning kind. It's like black gold. Central Pennsylvania sits on one of the richest seams in the world. That's where Centralia was born. Immigrant families poured in Irish, Polish, Lithuanian, and others. Uh, they brought languages, recipes, Catholic faith, and calloused hands. They curved tunnels into the hillside, laid streets over the forest, and called it home. At its peak, Centralia had about 2,500 residents. Picture it: neat rows of houses, church steeples poking the sky, smokestacks rising from the mines.
So basically, Norman Rockwell, but with black lung.
Yeah, coal mining wasn't a job, it was identity. Kids knew they'd go underground when they grew up. Fathers, sons, uncles all worked the seams, but the work was brutal. 12-hour shifts, crouched in dark tunnels, swinging pickaxes by lantern, methane gas buildup, explosions ripped through the shafts, cave ins crushed men, and black lungs stole the breath of those who survived long enough.
Sounds like every character building story my grandpa told me, except he worked in a factory making wrenches, not playing Russian roulette with rocks.
Exactly. But despite the danger, Centralia thrived. After a shift, men staggered out of the mines, coughing coal dust, and headed straight to the bar. At one point, Centralia had 27 saloons for just over 2,000 people.
27? That's not a town, that's a permanent St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah, and it wasn't all booze. There were baseball leagues, 4th of July parades, Catholic festivals with food stalls, weddings where half the town showed up, marching down the street in a line of music and laughter. But there was also violence. In the late 1800s, Centralia was a hotbed for the Molly Maguires, an Irish secret society of coal miners. They fought back against mine owners with intimidation, sabotage, and sometimes murder. Pinkerton detectives infiltrated them. Trials were held. Men were hanged. The Molly Maguires left scars that never healed.
So basically, Peaky Blinders, both more pierogies and worse dental plans.
Yeah, that's Centralia. Hardworking, rough around the edges, proud. For 100 years, it was just another coal town grinding along, surviving every bust and boom. Nobody could have guessed that by the 1960s, it was literally being swallowed by fire. It's May of 1962, Memorial Day weekend. Centralia gets ready for its parade. Flags, veterans marching, kids with paper hats. But first, there's a problem. The town dump. The dump sat in an old strip mine pit on the edge of town. People threw everything in there: trash, furniture, tires, even animal carcasses. By the early 60s, it was overflowing. So the borough council met and made a decision: burn it. Clean it out before the parade.
Jesus, that's the plan? Oh, we've got too much garbage, let's set it on fire inside a coal town.
That was normal back then. Small towns all across Pennsylvania burned their trash. They didn't think twice. But in Centralia, that pit was more than a garbage hole. It was a doorway to a century of abandoned coal tunnels, a honeycomb running under the town. On May 27th, which is actually my birthday, they lit it up. Different year though. They lit it up. At first, it looked like success. Flames ate the garbage, smoke curled, ash fell. Then firefighters hosed it down, covered it up with dirt. Everyone thought it was handled, but beneath the dirt, fire had slipped through the cracks in the pit walls. It found a seam of coal. It's called anthracite. And anthracite is like the grudge of coal: hard, dense, slow to ignite, but once it catches, it burns hotter and longer than anything else. It can smolder for decades, even centuries.
So it's the Liam Neeson of fossil fuels. Hard to start, but once it's coming for you, it don't stop.
Exactly. And the borough didn't realize it. For weeks, they saw smoke here and there. Firefighters came back, hosed it again, then more smoke. Then new cracks. They tried digging trenches to cut off oxygen, but every trench just opened new pathways. They dumped tons of soil, but the heat baked it from below until the cap cracked open. They poured water, but steam fractured the rock, opening fresh vents. One miner later said, It was like trying to put out a match with a teaspoon of spit.
I've tried that at parties, didn't work for me either.
But July, the dump fire had grown underground. By August, smoke seeped from the grass near the cemetery. Miners saw it curling out of the cracks in Route 61. The fire was in the town's bones. At first, people shrugged, smoked. Smoke, that's Pennsylvania. Sulfur smell, that's coal country. Warm basements, free heating. People joked about it. But slowly the joke stopped. By 1970, carbon monoxide detectors started chirping in houses. Kids complained of headaches. Snow melted in strange patterns. Lawns steaming in January. Sections of forests wilted from invisible fumes.
Huh. Imagine telling your kids, "Don't play on that side of the yard, Timmy. The devil's burping over there."
Some families noticed their walls sweating from underground heat. Others saw cracks opening in the roads, smoke seeping through. The fire wasn't just beneath, it was everywhere, moving slowly, unpredictably. And then February 14th, 1981, Valentine's Day, 20 or 12-year-old Todd, probably not going to say this last name right, Domboski, was playing with in his grandmother's backyard. The ground gave way beneath him. He fell into a sinkhole 150 feet deep, straight down into the burning seam. Only a dangling tree root kept him from sliding all the way down into the fire. His cousin Eric grabbed his arm and pulled him out. Seconds later, toxic gas poured from the hole.
Jesus, that kid literally got a Valentine's Day card from hell. Be mine forever.
That incident made headlines nationwide. Centralia wasn't a joke anymore. It was a town where the earth could swallow your kids alive. The Domboski sinkhole forced the government's hand. Pennsylvania declared emergencies. Scientists measured lethal gas levels across the borough. Entire blocks were marked unsafe. What do you do with a fire burning 300 feet underground? You can't flood it. The tunnels are endless. You can't smother it. The coal seam stretches for miles. By 1984, the federal government gave up on fighting it. Instead, they declared to move the people. Congress approved $42 million buyout families and to buy out families and demolish homes. Most accepted. Imagine the heartbreak. Packing up your life. I'm trying to look up how much $42 million is in from 1984 to now. And it would be $130 million. $130 million in today's economy. 2025. That's a lot of money. But packing up your life, walking away from the house your grandfather built, knowing bulldozers would knock it flat tomorrow.
That's brutal. Like breaking up with someone and watching Tinder delete your whole history.
One by one, blocks vanished, houses bulldozed, foundations ripped up. The ground reseeded with grass. By the late 1980s, whole neighborhoods were just meadows with telephone poles standing like gravestones, but not everyone left. A handful of residents refused buyouts. They claimed the danger was exaggerated. Some insisted the government wanted the coal beneath their land. Others just loved their homes too much to leave.
So they were like, "Yeah, the ground's on fire, but I just remodeled the kitchen."
Exactly. They went to court. They fought eminent domain all the way to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They lost. Eventually, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court refused to hear the case. By the 1990s, the state seized most property, but after years of resistance, a compromise was reached. The last handful of residents could stay until they died. No heirs, no transfer of property. When they were gone, so was Centralia. Even today, fewer than 10 people live there, stubborn to the end. By the early 2000s, Centralia was no longer a town, it was a memory. What had been neighborhoods were now meadows. What had been sidewalks vanished into the woods. Telephone poles still stood, running lines to nowhere. If you drive through today, you'll see a handful of houses still clinging to the map. The last residents, mostly elderly, mowing their lawns like nothing's wrong, even as the earth vents. Smoke across the street. The borough's post office was shut down in 2002. The zip code was 17927 and it was officially retired. When the post office itself dies, you know a town is gone.
Imagine telling someone, "Yeah, I live in a place so dead the government deleted the zip code." That's not an address, that's a horror movie setup.
For a while, the biggest draw was Graffiti Highway, a section of Route 61 buckled by heat, abandoned and reclaimed by spray paint. Teenagers, tourists, urban explorers, they all came. They tagged, they left tags, murals, marriage proposals, conspiracy theories, and neon across the cracked asphalt. It became an Instagram legend. Steam vents rising, pavement split, covered the covered in color. For some, it was beautiful. For others, it was vandalism. In 2020, the state buried it under tons of dirt, covering it forever.
Of course they did. Pennsylvania's brand is Killjoy. Like, hey, you already have a literal hell mouth. Let people tag it, at least monetize it. Charge $5 to spray paint butts on the apocalypse.
Some residents wanted it gone because of trespassers, but others argued, why not embrace it? Centralia could have leaned into its its weirdness, sorry, sold tickets, turned it into a tourist attraction. Instead, it was erased. Centralia's story didn't stay in Pennsylvania. It seeped into pop culture. Documentaries profiled the town. Journalists came to capture eerie photos of smoke curling from snow, roads splitting, homes vanishing. Writers used Centralia as a metaphor for climate change, for industrial greed, for forgotten communities. And then there's Silent Hill. The horror game and later the movie took direct inspiration from Centralia's foggy, abandoned streets. The idea of a town swallowed by something invisible, unstoppable, came straight from Centralia.
Silent Hill is terrifying. Creepy fog, monster, cults. That's not fiction. That's Pennsylvania with extra steps.
So, have you ever played Silent Hill, the video game?
I have.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it's scary though. It scares me.
Is it? What does
Yeah,
it scare you for?
it's dude. I've been playing it for a long time
When did it come out?
since the first crap. I don't know.
I had no
I
idea
forgot when the first one came out.
Silent Hill was even a game, but other than that, took inspiration from Centralia, Pennsylvania. That's crazy. But fair, Centralia became shorthand, the town that's still burning. Even people who couldn't point to Pennsylvania on a map knew the legend.
Honestly, the tourism board fucked up. They could have leaned into it. Welcome to Centralia. Population, hell. Sell merch, sell devil shaped pierogies. Instead, they just bulldozed houses and pretended it wasn't there.
Some stories were bury, others others we can't. Centralia refused to stay buried. Let's talk about the science. Why does Centralia's fire keep burning? Coal seam fires need three things: fuel, oxygen, and heat. Centralia has all three. The fuel is anthracite, dense, carbon rich, spreads across miles of seams. Oxygen comes through the abandoned mine tunnels. Cracks in the rocks vent out to the surface. Heat is already present. Once anthracite ignites, it sustains itself. Attempts to stop it fail because the mine system is vast. Every trench, every soil cap, every dump was undone by new cracks, new pathways, new oxygen feeds. Thermal imaging shows the fire migrating year to year. It has already consumed more than 400 acres underground. Models suggest it could burn for centuries, 200, maybe 500 years until exhausts itself.
So basically, the earth built a smoker and Pennsylvania is a brisket.
In a way, yes. The smoke is deadly. The gases released: carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Pool in low places, basements filled with toxins, invisible and lethal. It's not just heat, it's poison.
Note to self: don't air don't Airbnb in Centralia. Charming two-bedroom, unlimited heating, occasional death gas.
Exactly. But here's the thing: Centralia isn't alone. Coal seam fires burn all over the world. In Jahara, India, fires have rigs for over a century. Live, entire neighborhoods live with flames venting from sidewalks. People cook over the cracks in the ground. Homes collapse as the fire eats away beneath them. In China, seam fires stretch for miles. Some estimate some estimates say they consume 200 million tons of coal annually, more than the entire US production a year. That's fucking crazy. In Australia, the Burning Mountain fire has been smoldering for 6,000 years. 6,000 years. It may be the oldest continuously burning thing on Earth.
Okay, hold on. Australia's been on fire for 6,000 years and they still build houses there? That's optimism or stupidity.
Depends on how you look at it. The point is, Centralia isn't unique. It's just America's most famous. The one that caught headlines.
And the one that spawned a video game about cults and demons, India didn't get the brand deal.
True.
All right. So let's imagine that Centralia happened in 2025. Day one, some town lights the dump on fire. By day two, it's on TikTok, hashtag Trash Inferno Challenge. By day three, there's a TikTok influencer doing the Dougie over a smoke vet.
And by day 4, there's a funeral.
Exactly. But then merch drops. Limited edition hoodies straight out of Centralia. Starbucks rolls out a lava latte. Someone live streams themselves cooking bacon over a vent.
Meanwhile, half the town is evacuated.
Doesn't matter. There's already a Netflix documentary, The Town That Wouldn't Stop Burning.
And a GoFundMe for the influencer's medical bills.
Yep, that's humanity in a nutshell.
So, scientifically speaking, Centralia is explained by coal seam combustion and abandoned mining infrastructure. It's tragic, it's preventable, it's human error.
Nope, I'm not buying it. This is aliens.
Here we go.
Think about it, a fire that never dies, hidden underground, spewing toxic gas impossible to extinguish? That's not geology, that's a fucking alien battery.
Or it's, coal.
So you're telling me in a universe with black holes, wormholes, and Kardashians, we just happen to off a forever fire by accident? Nah, bro, that's a reactor core. Centralia is Area 52.
Area 52.
Yeah, Area 51 is a decoy. Centralia is a real deal. That's where the CIA keeps their interdimensional barbecue pit.
And who's running the grill?
Bigfoot, obviously. Bigfoot is the pitmaster. Every Thursday is elk steak night. Fridays are wings.
You seriously think Bigfoot is running a cookout under Pennsylvania?
Think I know. He's got a kiss a cookie apron and everything, probably using alien ropes.
Okay, let's say hypothetically, Bigfoot is grilling underground. What's he serving with elk steak?
Pierogies, always pierogies. It's Pennsylvania. Don't disrespect the culture.
But seriously, it's coal fires. It's been studied, mapped, explained.
Nah, man, that's just what they want you to think. The government loves a cover up. Oh, it's just however you say it, coal burning. Nothing to see here. Meanwhile, they're tapping into hell's furnace to power UFOs.
You've been watching too much late night History Channel.
Tell me you wouldn't tune in for Ancient Aliens, Pennsylvania edition. A dude with wild hair pointing at a sinkhole saying clearly this was an alien launch pad.
Okay, I admit I'd watch.
And don't even get me started on Sheetz versus Wawa.
What does that have to do with coal fires?
Everything. If the parking lot is molten, who wins? Sheets with the made to order sandwiches or Wawa with the coffee game?
Neither. Royal Farms, parachutes, and fried chicken, and claims the lava field.
Diplomacy by Trumpstick. That's how America should run foreign policy.
Okay, but imagine Sheetz trying to sell Firehouse subs literally on a vent.
They would rebrand overnight. Sheets, hotter than hell.
Meanwhile, Wawa drops a limited time lava latte.
Exactly, but Starbucks wouldn't sue. Duncan wouldn't cave, and Pennsylvania would finally achieve state pride.
So far, we've got aliens, Bigfoot barbecue, and gas station wars. You got anything else?
Yeah, imagine if Elon Musk tried to fix
Oh
Centralia.
no.
You know he'd show up there with a flamethrower and say, "I'm gonna fight fire with fire." Then 2 weeks later, there's Tesla Supercharger station built right on top of the vent.
And the first guy who plugs in gets electrocuted and carbon monoxide poisoning at the same time.
Exactly. Elon would probably tweet something like, "Working as intended. Stocks are going up by 30%."
Okay, what about conspiracies?
Conspiracies, I think Centralia is clearly a gate to hell. The government isn't trying to extinguish it anymore, they're trying to contain it.
Contain what?
Demons, bro. Demons with union cards? You think the Molly McGuires disappeared? No, they're just unionizing L.
The local 666 eternal miners.
Exactly. Their slogan, "We never stop burning."
You realize none of this is true, right?
None of history is true until it gets weird enough. That's why people listen. You're the facts guy, I'm the what if guy.
Fair enough. So, what does Centralia really mean? It's easy to get lost in the flames. The ghost town, imaginary, the pop culture references, but at its heart, Centralia is about consequences. One small decision, burning trash in a pit, intersected with a century of mining scars. That mat that match didn't just light garbage, it lit up the future of an entire town.
So the moral is don't be frank with the matches.
Yes, don't be frank with the matches, but also understand this. Our actions echo further than we imagine. When we dig tunnels, when we carve up the earth, when we treat land like it's disposable, those decisions outlive us. Centralia's proof. The people who lit the fire are long gone. The people who mined those tunnels are long gone. But the choices burn on literally beneath the soil.
That's heavy, man. You're saying we're all just one dumb decision away from cooking our descendants?
Exactly. And it's not just about coal towns. Think about climate change. Think about nuclear waste. Think about rivers we've poisoned. Mistakes don't always die with us. Some linger, some smolder.
So it's basically like Centralia is saying, um, "We told you so."
Yeah, I suppose, but you know, I'm not gonna go through the rest of this whole script. We're just gonna talk about it. Man, a fucking coal shaft is on fire and it's gonna burn for 200 more years. That's nuts, man.
I really wonder if, well, they said it was basically impossible to put out, but they probably could just bury everything.
Yeah, but they say that new vents are continually made and new ways of getting oxygen down there are you could become available all the time. So I just I don't know how they would do it.
Oh, and going back to Resident Evil, the first game was released back in 1999,
Sure.
and most notable is the pyramid head
But
character,
I
which
thought
is
it
terrifying.
it said Silent Hill though, didn't it? Is that a Resident Evil thing?
Did I say no, I meant Silent Hill. Did I
Oh,
say Resident Evil?
yeah, yeah.
I meant Silent Hill.
I've never played Resident Evil either.
Those ones are scary too.
But
It'd be even scarier with Bigfoot.
is Silent Hill a new I mean, is there more Silent Hills or is there just one?
Yeah, I believe there's quite a bit actually.
Huh.
Same with
They should make like a Silent Hill meets Dead by Daylight.
they might have characters in Dead by Daylight.
I just don't see how you couldn't put a fire out of the coal vein, and it's consumed 400 acres. That's a lot.
That'd be a lot. Even more money.
And the one out in Australia's been on fire for 6,000 fucking years. I,
I've never heard of that.
I haven't either. A 6,000-year-old coal mountain just like on fucking fire. Let me look. I'm trying to look it up real quick.
Speaking of which,
Let's see. So, yeah, there's a coal seam under a burning mountain, also known as Mount Wengen in New South Wales, Australia, has been burning for approximately 6,000 years, making it the world's longest burning fire. The underground fire is believed to have started from a lightning strike. Oh my God. Fucking Thor was pissed at fucking Australia and just decided we're going to burn this motherfucker down.
I
And it ignited the coal seam. And it continues to smolder at a slow rate, consuming coal and leaving behind discolored soils and uneven ground. That's crazy. But how would they know 6,000 years ago it was struck by lightning? And then, could you imagine? Because Australia is where they took all the criminals, right? And dropped them off.
essentially, yeah.
So could can you imagine going over there and be like, "Oh my God, what the fuck? This place is on fire."
That also reminds me of an interesting theory.
What?
So, there's a theory that Earth is actually a prison planet.
A prison planet? What?
Yeah. So, if you think about it, every animal and everything that lives on Earth, right, has evolved to live comfortably wherever it's at.
Huh.
But humans, we need synthetic heat, synthetic cooling, clothes, and all that to basically live in different environments.
Huh. Yeah, I just looked it up and it said that it's a theory both physical and spiritual interpretation suggesting humans are trapped by gravity and cosmic limitations. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. Gravity as a prison. This perspective suggests that Earth's powerful gravity well formed by the energy of the universe acts as a prison by trapping beings on the planet. The difficulty of escaping Earth's gravitational pull is uh it takes a lot of energy needed to leave a deep gravity well. Cosmic isolation. Some theories propose that Earth is a prison due to its isolation in the vast universe, preventing humans from escaping to other celestial bodies, sorry, and highlighting the limitations of the species. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, Earth is a prison. What is what do they say on Step Brothers? This house is a prison.
On planet bullshit.
Planet bullshit. The galaxy, this sucks camel dicks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy theories, and um, what's interesting too, I love theories.
Well, let's hear
There's one that terrifies me.
what
It's called the uncanny valley.
uncanny valley. What the fuck is that?
So, have you ever looked at something like a mannequin or something that looks like a person, but it doesn't look quite right and it kind of freaks you out?
A little bit. Like I'm.
Like a mannequin, or you can just tell like something's off. Like that's not actually a human, but it looks like a human.
Yeah.
So essentially, the uncanny valley theory is that at one point during evolution, we had to be afraid of something that looked human but wasn't quite human. And my question is, when the fuck would we have to do that? And what was it? Because obviously animals look different.
Ugh.
And they're saying that it was a survival instinct, and that's scary.
I don't know, man. The uncanny valley, is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Um, yeah, if you look up some pictures, just uncanny valley photos, it'll give you an example. And they're kind of unsettling.
Uncanny valley photos.
Yeah, or you can just look up uncanny valley.
What the fuck?
Like if you were to encounter something that looked like any of the images out in nature, like that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
But they suggest it was part of a survival instinct that we needed. So my question is, why the fuck would we need that?
Yeah. I have no idea. That's weird. Uncanny valley. Where do you fucking hear all this shit at?
I go down wormholes, bruh.
I fucking guess your browser history must be fucked up.
Wait,
Holy crap. What's another one?
another one? Um, those are the two I recently.
The spaceship coming?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be here. I believe they said in November, by sometime in November, and it's either like a space probe or possibly an alien ship. I'm interested to see
I mean, you, I don't know. How would they know that it's going to be here in November?
because
Tracking it?
they've been watching it closely. Yeah,
I've never even heard of this thing.
I've been hearing a lot about it.
But I don't watch the news and I don't really get on social media and look at random shit like that. But yeah, no, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. But I'd say that that would wrap it up for episode 1. And hey, we'll get better at this whole thing. We're just starting out. Big Skilly over there. He's a little nervous.
And not anymore.
And we'll do episode 2 probably of some fucking weird shit that oh Skilly looks up and his fucked up browser history.
Yeah, that's the point of what we were wanting to do is just see whatever we could find that we find interesting and just read about it and talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will certainly find something this week,
Wherever we find ourselves,
wherever we find ourselves.
definitely in some fucked up website that Skilly has looked up on his browsing history that's just full of weird and random shit.
I might actually find like an interesting disappearing story,
Oh man.
unexplained, because I love stories like that. Not that it happened, but it's just like how just makes you think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I've listened to quite a bit of that kind of thing on like Morbid, the podcast, and they do a really good storytelling about random shit like that too. But yeah. Anyways, we'll let you guys get back to a better podcast and we'll harness you later. See you.
See ya.